The Naughtiest Girl Again by Annette Byton. Elizabeth is very cross. The complaints to the school meeting were so serious that the two judges and the jury took a long time to discuss them. In the meantime, the rest of the children also discussed the matter among themselves. Not many of them were for Robert, for he was not liked, but on the other side, most of the boys and girls felt that Elizabeth had no right to lose her temper so fearlessly. After all, whispered one child to another, she was the naughtiest girl in the school last term. Yes, we used to call her the bold, bad girl, said another child. But she was quite all right after half term. She really did turn over a new leaf. And I know quite well that she meant to do her very best this term, said Harry. I have heard her say so heaps of time. She lost her temper with me last term, but she said sorry. She was sorry and had been absolutely decent to me ever since. So the talk went on, whilst Elizabeth and Robert sat up straight, hatting one another, each longing to hear that the other was to be punished. Meanwhile, the judges, jury were finding things very difficult. Some of the jury felt quite certain that Robert was a real bully, and yet not even Peter would complain, so maybe there was not much truth in what they had thought. All the monitors of the jury were fair minded and just, and they knew quite well that they must never judge anyone else. They had real, clear proof of wrongdoing. Again, all the jury knew quite well how bad Elizabeth had been the term before, and yet how marvelously she had managed to conquer herself and turn over a new leaf. They could not believe that she would fight Robert just for nothing. It was all very difficult. They did not feel that they wanted to punish Elizabeth in any case. By chance, Robert did turn out to be a bully. At last, William knocked his wooden mallet for silence. The whole school sat up, eager to know what they had decided. Elizabeth was still fiery red in the face, but Robert looked quite pale and cool. We find this matter very difficult to decide, said William in a pleasant voice. It is quite clear that Elizabeth did lose her temper badly and flew at Robert, but it isn't quite as clear that Robert was bullying Peter. After all, we must take Peter's word for that. He should know, but we know enough for Elizabeth to realize that she is very just person, and it is quite plain that she thought Robert was doing something unkind. There was a pause. The school listened hard. William thought for a moment and then went on. Very well, Elizabeth may have been mistaken, but she really believed that Robert was being unkind. So she lost her temper and flew at him to stop him. That is where you were wrong, Elizabeth. Hot temper makes you see things all muddled instead of clearly. So when you see something you disapprove of, you must try to keep your temper so that you can judge things properly and not get them all exaggerated and twisted. You spoke as if you hated Robert just now, and that does you as much as harm it does to Robert. I do hate him, burst out Elizabeth angrily. Well, to go on with this, went on William. We have decided that unless we get much plainer proof that Robert is a bully, we can't very well either judge him or punish him. And as we were sure you really did think he was doing something mean, we shan't punish you either, Elizabeth. But you must say sorry to Robert for behaving so badly to him. The whole school thought this was a very good decision. Nobody wanted Elizabeth badly punished, for they really did like the hot headed girl. The school came to the conclusion that she must have been mistaken about Robert, and therefore she should really apologize and let the matter end there. Elizabeth said nothing. She sat on the farm looking scully. Robert looked pleased. This was grand. William and Rita spoke together for a moment or two and then said a few more words to close the matter. Well, that is a decision, Elizabeth and Robert. You will apologize, Elizabeth, and you will accept the apology graciously, Robert. Elizabeth, guard your temper, and Robert, see that no charge of bullying is ever made against you. If it should be, you would not be judged lightly. Then William spoke of other things for a few moments and broke up the meeting. For the time was getting late. The children were dismissed and filed out of the gym, all looking rather sullen. Bad temper and bullying. These were things not often dealt with at the meeting. Robert swaggered out, his hands in pocket. He felt important and pleased. He had won that battle. Now Elizabeth got to say she was sorry. Serve her right. But Elizabeth had no intention of saying she was sorry. Joan looked in dismay at the angry face of her friend as she marched into the common room. Elizabeth, there's Robert over there. For goodness sake, go and apologize now and get it over, she begged the angry girl. But I'm not sorry, said Elizabeth in a loud voice, tossing back her dark curls. Not a bit. I am glad I flew at Robert. How can I say sorry if it's not a truth? Well, you can apologize, said Joan. That's only good manners. Just go up and say, I apologize, Robert. You don't need to say anything more. Well, I'm not going to, said Elizabeth. The judges and the jury were wrong for once. Nobody can make me apologize. Elizabeth, no matter what you feel, you should be loyal to William and Rita, said Joan, troubled. It isn't what you feel yourself that matters. It's what all others feel to be right. You are one against a whole lot. Well, I may be, but I am the one who happens to be right, said Elizabeth in a trembling voice. I know Robert is a bully. Elizabeth, do what the meeting says, and then we will watch and see if we can't catch Robert at his horrid tricks, begged Joan. Do it to please me. You will make me so unhappy if you don't. And the whole school will think badly of you if you are afraid to apologize. I'm not afraid, said Elizabeth, with her eyes flashing angrily. Joan smiled a little to herself. She turned away from Elizabeth. You are afraid, she said. You are afraid of hurting your own silly pride. Elizabeth marched straight up to Robert. I apologize, she said stiffly. Robert gave a polite bow. I accept your apology, he said. Elizabeth stalked off her by herself. Joan ran after her. "Leave me alone," said Elizabeth crossly. She went into music practice room and sat down at the piano. She played a piece she knew very loudly and fiercely. Mr. Lewis, the music master, looked into the room in surprise. "Good gracious, Elizabeth," he said. "I have never heard the piece song so angry before. Get up and let me play you something really fierce. Something with a thunderstorm or two in it." Elizabeth got up. Mr. Lewis took her seat and played a stormy piece of music, with the wind and the sea, streaming clouds, roaring trees in it, and then the storm died down. The rain sprinkled softly, the wind ceased, the sun shone, and the music became calm and smooth. And as she listened, the little girl felt soothed and softened too. She loved music so much. Mr. Lewis glanced at her and saw that she looked peaceful instead of troubled. He played a little longer, and then the bell went for Elizabeth's bedtime. "There you are," said Mr. Lewis, shutting the piano. "After the storm, the calm. Now go off to bed, sleep well, and don't worry your head too much about anything." "Thank you, Mr. Lewis," said Elizabeth gratefully. "I do feel better now. I was all hot and bothered about something, but now I feel happier. Good night."